Sherry.
I'm in my craft room.
Welcome to my craft room. I also want to thank Dee. She is the producer today of this April's Craft Room Live. And today we are going to make a quilt in a jar. Well, we're going to make a quilt using fabric from a jar. And I decided that I am going to do quilt as you go. So it's going to be kind of a double thing. So first of all, we're going to practice our positive declaration because we don't need any negativity in our life. So we are all going to say, I am a quilting genius. Okay, this is going to be our thought process the whole time we're doing this. And I'm hoping that some of you all brought your scraps so that you can, play along with this. Okay? Positive, positive. I am a quilting genius. All right. Do we have any questions? Anybody have any questions? Anything you want to talk about before we get started? Okay, I'm not hearing anything, so I'm going to okay. So if you have any questions, just if you put them in bold letters in the chat, that makes them easier for Dee to see. And then she'll tell me because she's in my ear. All right. I am going to put my hand over the camera and turn it down. I'm hoping that I'll have minimal camera movement so I don't make anybody sick. Except for there, where I'm going to twirl you around. All right. Let me get this just right. So the first thing I'm going to do, since we're doing quilt as you go, and you don't have to do quilt as you go, you can just start sewing your fabric together the way we're going to do it. But I have 12-inch squares, and then you've got of batting. That's kind of important that you know it's batting. So I've taken excess batting, and you can see here I have a strip. It's actually folded up batting. Then that's what I use. I have these extra bits of batting lying around to make my squares to start on the quilt as you go. So I've got several of those cut already, but let me show you how I cut them. I folded this up twice so that it was easier to get a hold of. And then I just straightened up the edge and then measured 12 inches on my mat and cut. Yes. So we're doing scrappy quilt as you go. Thus, I have all of these fabric pieces in my jar. And that's what we're going to use to make the quilt along with the batting. So I've cut a 12-inch strip of my batting. And again, you can do quilt as you go or not. It's up to you. And now I'm going to cut this 12 inches again so that I have a 12-inch square. And it does not have to be perfect, actually. Let's do this. Keep in mind, if you're doing the quilt as you go, that quilt batting has two sides. This is the rough side of the batting. All right. Okay. So here is our 12-inch piece of batting. So I'll put this away for right now, but that's how you're going to cut out your batting if you're doing quilts as you go. So now what you want to do is pull out your scraps. And I have all kinds of scraps here. We're going to start with something simple. And the beauty of doing the quilt as you go is once you have your 12-inch square covered, you have a block for a quilt or a pillow or whatever it is you want to make. So I'm going to pull my 12-inch square over here. And here I have a strip. It doesn't matter how wide. If you want to cut some strips down, if you're just going to use the strips that you have, any way you go is fine. All right, so we're going to start out by attaching this in the middle. Now I am going to send you Sherry, who is going. Okay, can everybody hear me? Because I just realized I don't have my microphone in. Hopefully my iPhone microphone will do fine. Okay, good.
All right, explain what I'm doing. I'm putting this on, right?
Okay.
Is this to be inside out?
No, it's supposed to be like this. So your first strip, you are going to put right side up. And you're just going to sew a 1/4-inch seam. You could pick either side. So Sherry's going to sew a 1/4-inch seam down that strip, down one side of that strip.
Okay.
And she put her foot
Oh,
down.
needle down, needle down. Needle down. And this is down.
Yes, you're good. And she's back tacking.
Yes. And needle down.
So now what we're going to do, we'll do a skinny strip now. So this strip is going to go right side down along the edge of the other side of your strip. Yep. And we're just going to sew a 1/4-inch seam. And I don't know if you recognize these, but these are...
Do you think they can hear you if you get your thing on?
These leftovers are from the quilts that I've done with the charm squares and then some other patriotic quilts that I've done. Oh. Patty. This is the... Oh, Linda. Glenda. Sorry, I can't hear Glenda. Glenda, this is quilt in a jar. So what I've done is I just put all of my scraps in a jar. It's a big jar, but I put them in a jar. And now what I'm doing is I'm pulling these scraps out of the jar and making a quilt. So you can have quilt in a tub. Here's a little tub with scraps from a quilt that I've done recently. It doesn't have to be in a jar. It just sounds really cute when you say quilt in a jar. Alright, so I've got a couple other scraps here. And this one, we're going to sew some scraps together to add to our quilt. So
Sew them together.
Yeah, let's sew. So I have these strips with white on the end. So let's sew the blue together.
Oh.
Yeah, like that. And then we can put it on our batting square. They will be. Everything will be sewn on batting. You don't have to sew it on batting. You can sew it, right, this is specifically quilt as you go.
Oh, the string's in right there.
Gotcha. But you don't have to do quilt as you go. We'll do another one and we won't do quilt as you go. So you can see that you can do your scraps with batting or without. The nice thing about this is you've just got a block and it's ready. You don't have to worry about adding the batting. You do have to worry about adding the batting though, so. Alright.
Ta-da!
Yay. And then we're just gonna put it on our block.
Which side? Right here?
Whichever side you want.
Like on the end?
Yeah, but you're gonna do it along.
Oh, that side.
Yeah. There you go. You might want to cut that thread.
You gotta get your microphones on. Okay.
And then, yeah, so we can do a couple blocks and then I can show you how you sew your batting together.
I know. I'm gonna put it down. Why do I keep doing this? It keeps catching. It's me, not the machine.
Yeah, just you can hold your string back before when you start sewing and
Let's do it.
all right. Huh? Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now all the seams are going this way. Is that okay?
Yep. All right, so now let's put this on the other side of the block.
Up here like this?
Yep. There we go. And then while she's sewing that, I have to show you guys some fabric that I found at Joann's. Look at how cute this is. Isn't that cute? Little dogs, kitties, and hats and jack-o'-lanterns and dog bones. More dogs and witches. It says something. What does it say? Ghosts, happy Halloween, spooky, boo, scary. So cute! Now here, I've got a pretty big piece of fabric. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to trim it down into a strip. But if we were doing a different pattern, you could trim it down into squares. And I'll show you how we can do that in a minute.
Okay, it's just a little bit short.
It's a little bit short. Oh, okay. All right. So what we'll do is we'll take this and we'll cut. So let's take this strip. And if you've got the selvage, just hang the selvage over the edge. So we're good on this side. We just need to, cool, okay. Cool. Thank you, Jana, for giving that thumbs up. Anybody else who's learning, feel free to hit that thumbs up for us. I've got some. Look, I have a diamond.
Huh.
How cool is that? I found in my stash a diamond. Might not be a perfect
Okay,
diamond.
then what do you do?
Okay. Alright, hold on.
Press it.
Use that diamond in the next one. This will be an experiment. Sherry loves experiments. Okay, so here is our scrap block, the first one that we've done. So now let's do another one so that we can put those together. So here's our 12.5-inch squares. So let's see, how can we do this? Let's, I'm thinking if we sew this like that, we almost have to sew it on an angle, don't we? Don't look at me like I'm crazy, Sherry. Okay, let's just sew that down. 1/4 inch right there. I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be fun, though. It'll be unusual. Oh, look, another one. Sherry's going to be so excited. No, it's not.
I can't hear you. You don't have a... They can't hear me. If you can hear me, she's crazy.
I'm going to make 2 of the Quilt As You Go blocks, and then we'll do 1.
Oh. Oh. I didn't put the thing down.
You didn't put the foot down. Putting the foot down is very important.
Oh, what a difference, huh?
Okay. We'll do 2 Quilts As You Go so I can show you how they get joined, and then we'll do 1 scrap block where you don't have to do Quilt As Alright, so let's see what that looks like. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Ta-da.
Alright, look at that. Okay.
Ooh, it almost matches up perfect.
Well, we can trim it down.
No, it does. Look.
Yeah,
Look.
it does. Awesome. Alright, so let's put this. Let's put this along this edge. Like that. We get our red, white, and blue going.
Would I need to move it up because of the salvage? Just a little bit?
Well, when you fold it over, so look at what it's going to look like when it... So,
might
yeah,
hit.
you can, yeah, move it up. Yep. Good thinking, Sherry. Sherry's got this down. So be cognizant of where your the edge of your block batting is, so that you can line it up. And if you don't quite make it to the edge of your batting, we can always add another little piece of fabric. That makes it scrappy. Sounds like it's burping.
It's really easy to use.
Okay, so let's see what that looks like. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so we need another something for over in this corner.
Is it okay if I trim this off?
Absolutely. Alright, so what do we want to put on there? Let's put this. Hold on, let me.
What about one of these?
Oh, there you go.
I don't know. Would it look alright?
Well, do we want it wider though? So then you only have to put one piece.
Sure.
Let's see.
What about this piece?
There you go.
With that? Oh, the other way. Right?
Yep.
This way.
Perfect.
Would have figured that out after I had the seam rip it, huh?
Yep. Alright, so this.
Yeah, I did it again.
What? Oh, just.
I didn't pull the thread so it
You
wouldn't get...
should just be able to
Snip
snip
it.
Yep. Correct. That is correct. Yes. So I do my. Yes. So I do my quilt as you go a little differently than some people because I don't want to have to figure out how to put my blocks together if there's the finished backing on the back. And I'll show you what I mean.
Okay.
Okay, so now
This is...
these are 12-inch blocks. Alright, so what we're going to do is we are going to, let me find a strip. So you are going to put this strip along this. You're going to line it up here.
Okay.
Yeah. And we can actually
Trim that?
Uh-huh.
I love this big table.
Yeah, it's nice. It's got a nice throat space, nice big area. And you can just cut along the seam. There you go. It's not gonna be that big. Because we're quilting it now. So when we put the backing on, we'll probably do, well, not probably, we'll do some quilting, but the majority of your quilting is done once you get these blocks built. now. I'd walked away from my phone. That's probably why.
Okay.
All right, so now we want another strip.
Oh, it's cute.
Mm.
Let me trim this off.
Okay, good. All right, and that, I'm thinking, is going to finish it for us.
Like that?
Yep, perfect. And if not, we can find another one. You may not be able to hear me because I'm not saying anything. Okay. All right. So let's see if that does the. That'll fold over and. Yes, perfect. Okay. So you can use big pieces and small pieces, but this is what your block looks like until you cut it down.
Do
So
I
I'm
need
gonna
to tack this down or anything?
Nah.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut it down. In the meantime, what we're going to do, I have all of these stars with white attached to them. So let's sew these together like this. And I got my Villa Rosa monthly pattern in the mail this week, and it actually had a panel that had blocks around it. And I want to make a whole quilt using the blocks that went around it. And I'm going to show you what it looks like. It just so happens that these are perfect to show you. Here, and just don't.
Nope, I touched it already.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. Okay, go ahead and go to the end, but don't pick it up yet. We're going to chain piece.
I'm at the end.
Okay, so do that one. Chain piecing, if you're not familiar, allows you. So right now we're not going to cut the thread on this. We're just going to feed the next block, if you will, strip. How about strip? The next strip to get, or right after this one. So there's no breaking thread, and it goes faster when you're trying to get your strips. When
Did
you're
we
trying to
backtack
get your
it all?
strips sewn.
No?
Nope. And you don't need to back turn. There's that. All right, hold on, I have one more. I'm not keeping that. All right. So let's put those two together. So here you get all this done and you don't have to break any thread. It's pretty cool. Chain piecing is awesome.
that the end of it?
Yes.
Do you want me to back tack to this one?
No, you don't have to. Alright, so those are part of the block. And what we're going to do, you can go ahead and cut those apart. And then we're going to sew strips in between them. This is let's see. So here we have strip sets, but they shouldn't be even. So the white, sometimes the stars are longer, sometimes the stars are shorter. Hopefully, yeah. Now, I've got this strip. So let's attach this strip. That one's not long enough, hold on. I need a longer one. Here, you can attach that strip to this one. Or that one, whichever. I'm sorry.
Don't matter.
It didn't. Okay, now this is going to be a scrappy block, but we're not doing it quilt as you go.
Okay, so do I put it on this end so you can flip it over? It doesn't matter, does
Nope,
it?
doesn't matter. Either side. So I just happen to have those leftover stars and white fabric. So you just kind of have to decide what you're going to do with your scraps as you go.
And I did it again.
That's
It didn't hit it.
And in case you didn't notice, this is the Grace Rebel that Sherry is using. Okay, now this one's going to go on the other side of that. And again, it's just a strip from my jar. And if you have little bitty pieces, you can use little bitty pieces. Which we'll do another example where you can just take a bunch of little pieces. If we have to.
This is what our friend Kathy from New York does, isn't it?
Okay.
Kathy's bar.
Yes, our friend Kathy Roche kind of introduced us to this.
She uses itty bitty pieces.
Yes. And her scrap quilts are gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Just a little bit further.
Okay, and then you're going to attach that
To
to this.
okay.
And what we want to do is make sure,
Try to match it.
well, no, I don't want it to match. I want it to be, that's perfect. It's not as long. Okay, perfect. That'll work. So don't pull it, you can,
Don't you want me sewing the edge?
yeah, I do. I'm trying to figure out, because these, I don't want these to be the same height.
Where's the end of the... Oh, it's... There you go.
Barbara,
I got it.
that the presser foot on the Little Rebel sits really, really close to the needle plate. And I have not figured out yet how to change that. So I have to contact Grace and figure that out. Now, when I put the foot on for quilting, I can adjust the height of that hopping foot, so it's not a problem with the quilting foot. But for some reason, this foot, and I'm sure there's an adjustment, I just haven't figured out how to do it yet.
And two, Sherry's not a very good sewer.
So Sherry, she's not really a novice sewer. She's sewn all kinds of stuff.
And it's the first time I've done this in this machine.
Right, so this is the first time she's using this machine.
And I love it. Look, I totally missed it. See, example, Sherry not very good.
No, Sherry, you are a genius quilter.
Ugh.
You have to speak positive. Just, yep, do over.
Oh.
Do you need a seam ripper? Or are you good?
No, it didn't even attach. It's not funny.
It's not funny. I'm laughing with you.
See the fingernail polish? Tell them no. No fingernail polish because kid is going to school.
Everybody needs to give Sherry a little grace. Her youngest son is going off to college. And
The
she's,
baby.
she's a little stressed.
Little. Fingers crossed. Huh? Good Lord.
That's a beauty. It's just fabric.
There you go.
All right.
Woohoo!
So here you can kind of see that this strip is not even with this strip, and that's what I want. I cut in the middle. It was like there are little strips, but then they're staggered, and that was the pattern that I really liked from Villa Rosa. All right, so let's put that one on there.
Where?
On the other side of this.
But there's no... Oh. There's no... I kept looking for it. You didn't even say nothing.
There's
I
no
was like-
batting.
It's like, I don't know where the end is. So do you not want me to trim these?
No, you can just line it up with the top of that.
I do not know why. I didn't catch that.
This one is not quilt as you go. This one is
This is also my first time doing that too.
Yep. So, see? Sherry's first time and she's doing great. Alright, so while Sherry is adding that strip, we're going to come back over to the cutting table so I can show you how I'm going to cut down the Quilt As You Go blocks.
Sorry about that.
Really? It's you're crazy. Okay. What I do to cut these down, because my batting isn't where it was, it might be a little different now because of the sewing, but not that much. So I flip it over, and then I use my batting as the guide for trimming. So I line up my ruler with the edge of the batting, and that's one side trimmed. And I'll line up the edge, trim, line up the edge. And I have a new rotating cutting mat from Caterpillar. I should have it out here, because a rotating cutting mat would be great for this. And then last side. And this block is ready to go. Isn't that cool? All right, so let's do the other one, and then I'll show you how we put them together. So flipping it over. My station. All right. And lining it up with the batting. Turn. Now you could attach the fabric on the edge, but for me that just puts it puts a stitch there that makes that heavier, and we're joining them together. We don't want any more bulk than necessary. And then this one's pretty well cut. And there is our other block. So then what we'll do, I lost my scrap block on my scrap. Okay. So you can kind of play around with them and see which you like better. If you like this, or this, or this, this, or this. I don't think I really want the stars together, so maybe that. I kind of like that. This little guy will get lost, so let's do how about that? Alright. And all I'm gonna do is lay these right sides together and put a couple clips. Oh, here. I found one. I found more than one. So you can clip them together to make sure that any loose fabric doesn't get folded back. Because, you know, this could get folded back, and we don't want that to happen. So you can pin however you like to keep your blocks together. And then when it's done, it'll look kind of like that. So the back of your Quilt As You Go is going to be exposed batting. Cut this. So what I like to do is when I get all my blocks together and there's a whole quilt, then I will get a piece of backing that covers the whole quilt. And let's just say this is my back. So I will attach the backing however I attach it. I could probably use a quilting machine, like my 16X. And then I turn it over so that I can see the front. And what I can do is I could straight line quilt, or I could just stitch in the ditch along where there are already seams, just so that I get enough coverage on the backing so it stays attached. Oh, Oliver's here. He must have heard me talking. But that's how I do quilt as you go. You can, when you're doing the front, you can already have your backing piece on the back of the fabric. Why I shy away from that is because then it's not as easy just to stitch along and join the two squares because there's a lot of bulk. And when you do that, you're going to have this exposed back. Even though you've got backing back here, this seam will still be exposed. So you have to use, there are different methods, but use different methods to put the two blocks together. You can't just sew them together. And it's probably 6 of one, half dozen of the other, because, you know, this, the way that I do it means that you have to have a full piece of backing. Whereas if you already have the backing on the back, you don't have to have the full piece of backing. But then you need like a skinny strip of fabric. I know I have a skinny strip over here somewhere. Oh yeah, definitely. These would make great placemats. And I have, if I want to make a placemat, then I can use the backing on the back, and I just cut my batting to be the size of a placemat. And that's the way I've done them. You know, you can't find a strip when you need one.
I got one right here.
No, you're fine. Okay. Here, you can put this on the other side of the stripe.
I can't use it. I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right, hold on. So here, you would have to like attach this, and then somehow, okay, you could attach this, and then you would need to attach this, and then you have to cover the back, and that's why I don't do it that way. But there are lots of tutorials, if you wanted to do it that way, that will show you what you can use as a sashing in the middle. So let's give this to Sherry, and I'll take that.
I didn't put it together.
That's okay.
I can't thread it.
Okay. So here you've got the shorter piece, and then this doesn't line up with that, and that goes this way. I'll have to show you all the pattern because it looks, in my mind, it looked different, which, you know, is always the way. So here I could do this square, or this strip, like this. There's more difference in them in the Villa Rosa pattern, but that's what I envisioned. So we could cut this into, right now, probably a 12-inch square, or whatever size we want. We could just trim it down. Let's just trim it down and see what size. And I guess it doesn't really have to be a square. You could make a rectangle. Because, you know, we break the quilting rules.
Or the thread. Damn it. Tag on it. I mean, I'm sorry. I broke it.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. Okay, so Tracy has, Tracy always comes up with the most unique ways to do things. She is like an engineer with fabric. Yep. On the sewing channel. Okay. So here, we've got this. I'm just gonna take this and cut this down. And you could just keep going and make this a row, honestly. Come on, Oliver. Kitty, 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 kitty. Come here, buddy. All right, let me press this real quick. Oh, no, he wants out. He doesn't want to talk to us. All right, so does anyone have any questions about quilting in a jar, quilt from a jar, quilt in a jar? So if you save your scraps in a jar, you too can have a quilt in a jar. All right, let's. All right, I'm going to put my hand over and we're going to put those two blocks together so you can see my version of Quilt As You Go.
Technical difficulties. I cut it too short and you want to sit here?
Oh, good. Okay, so you can, we'll show you. Oh, lost my shoe. Okay, let's go scooch this down a little bit. So you're just gonna bouncy, bouncy, bouncy. All right. So the needle needs to be threaded. I need to thread the needle. I think that sounds better. All right. This is built. This is built like a long arm machine. So whereas normally you would thread the needle from the front of the machine, if you have a long arm, you know what I'm talking about. And the hole for the needle is on the side.
That's why I couldn't get it.
Oh, you tried.
Oh my gosh, I've been over here sitting here trying to do that. And I'm like, I'm so blind, I can't see it.
So that's why Miss Sherry has had trouble. I'm going to get a
I didn't know that they had needles that had holes on the side. Good Lord. I've been sitting here the whole time trying to do that.
Yeah, so if you've got the Grace Rebel, when you put your needle in, the hole is going to go from side to side instead of front to back. Okay. This was my grandmother's. Let's see. Oh, look. I'm going to have to lower you all some more so you can see how cool this is. Every time. I'm going to have to get one of those things where I can switch cameras. I'm going to do lives. Because I know y'all are going, oh my gosh, I'm going to be sick. Hold on, guys. It's like a theme park ride and a live all in one. Okay, it's slowly coming down. Okay.
I get to see how you dust.
Okay, let's see. Here. So,
Can you see it?
I can. I don't know if you all can see it, but the magnifying glass is really nice for helping you see the hole in the needle. So now I need to get, there we go. And these suckers are sharp, so don't
Let me get out of your way.
Don't touch it. Okay, so I should be able to use the magnifying glass. I'm left-handed and I'm using my right hand, which is probably not gonna go well. Let's see. Nope. Okay, I'm gonna use my left hand. Here, let me hold this.
Sure.
Okay. Ah. Yeah, I'm just
Let
gonna
me try it. Now that I know it's on the side.
It was so close. It's there, it just
It's
won't.
pushing.
Mhm.
Here.
Ah! I gotta lick it.
Oh, I don't want to touch it now.
I gotta lick it. It's gotta be
No.
licked.
No.
All right. Grab it, Sherry.
I need tweezers.
Sherry has a thing about people's spit. She doesn't like to touch it. Oh my gosh.
Here, let me try it. Here, move.
Okay, yeah, cut it.
Yeah, you take it.
There.
Gross.
All right, here. Whew. All right. So while she's doing that, are there any questions? It's easy when you're not
It
the
wants
one
to
doing
go
it.
in it.
I know.
I don't want you to lick it though.
I'm not gonna lick it. Do your glasses help at all? You got it! Yay!
And I didn't lick it.
Okay, so what you're gonna do is you are going to sew these two pieces, or these two
Okay.
together.
And for clarification, I'm okay with my own spit. But no. No.
So probably some cheaters would be helpful.
Cheaters. Mine had a prescription and they didn't work. I didn't know that the hole was on the side.
Oh. Donna, that is genius. See, I told you you were a quilting genius. All right. That is Quilt As You Go.
Isn't it cute?
Doesn't that look great?
Look what I did, Donna.
All right, hold on. Let me pull them all up. Okay. All right.
In my shirt.
April's craft room. Yay. All right, so I'm going to bring y'all around here. So these are 2 blocks, and you just keep doing this until the quilt is as big as you want it. You can put them this way, whatever way you want. So you're using up all of your leftover scraps, and you're making a quilt. And you could donate this quilt, or you can do with this quilt whatever you want. All right, next. Okay. So we will schedule a live sometime and we'll go over putting the backing on and how we can quilt it and that. Next week, we are going to make a quilted vest. So when we were in Mississippi, I went to a thrift store and I found this quilt for, I think it was $20, $25, something like that. And I couldn't leave it. I just couldn't leave it. And on the inside, I'll have to find it, was the name of the person who made the quilt and information about her. She was from Biloxi and it was in 1994. So I took a class at Busy Lady Quilt Shop and I am making this into what I did is I cut the jacket out of the quilt. So here's the back, and then here is the front. So I purposefully cut these pieces so that I don't know why I froze. Okay. Okay. Boop. I don't know why I'm blacked out. I'm stuck. But anyway, next week we are going to, and we're not going to make a quilted jacket. We're going to make a quilted vest. So there won't be sleeves, but if you have a quilt that you're willing to cut up, bring it along, and I will put in the link of the live description for next week what pattern I'm going to use. So since I seem to be frozen, I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. Thank you everybody for coming. Have a great day. Eat some chocolate and be kind to everyone. And remember, you are a quilting genius. Bye.